For decades, we've been told a lie. We were taught to fear Hades, the god of the underworld, as if he were some kind of devil. But what if I told you Hades never killed anyone? What if the god everyone calls a monster was actually the most just, loyal, and misunderstood figure in all of Greek mythology? While Zeus caused chaos with his ego, and Poseidon waged war with his power, Hades ruled the most feared realm with quiet honor. He wasn't the villain, he was the balance, and the truth behind how he became the bad guy will completely change how you see him forever. For centuries, pop culture has painted Hades as a dark, malevolent god, a ruler of the underworld, shrouded in shadows and flames. Movies, cartoons, and even video games have turned him into the ultimate villain. But here's the truth. In ancient Greek mythology, Hades wasn't evil, not even close. In fact, his role was essential, even honorable. In this video, we're diving deep into the myths, the history, and the stories behind the god of the underworld to reveal why Hades was never the bad guy and why media needed someone to blame. And once you hear the real story, your entire perception of the Greek pantheon might change forever. To truly understand Hades, we need to travel back, long before Olympus, before the golden throne of Zeus. Before Hades was feared, he was a child of the Titans, Cronus and Rhea. Like all his siblings, Zeus, Poseidon, Hestia, Hera, and Demeter, he was swallowed whole by his father, Cronus. Cronus feared a prophecy that one of his children would overthrow him, so he devoured each of them the moment they were born. For years, Hades lived trapped in darkness, not the darkness of the underworld, but the darkness of his father's stomach. And when Zeus finally overthrew Cronus and freed his siblings, Hades emerged not as a villain, but as a survivor. After the Titanomachy, the great war between the Olympians and the Titans, the three brothers stood together to divide the cosmos. Zeus claimed the sky, Poseidon took the seas, and Hades drew the short straw. He became the ruler of the underworld. But here's the part most people misunderstand. Hades didn't choose evil. He accepted a duty no one else wanted: to watch over the dead, maintain balance, and ensure that every soul received fair judgment. He was a king, not a tyrant. Hades never sought to overthrow Zeus. He never wanted to conquer Olympus. Unlike Zeus, who was infamous for his affairs, or Poseidon, who often interfered with mortals, Hades rarely left his realm. And contrary to modern images of fiery pits, the underworld wasn't hell. It was divided into three parts: the Asphodel Meadows, where ordinary souls wandered for eternity; the Elysian Fields, a paradise reserved for the virtuous and heroic; Tartarus. So why then do we see Hades as the villain? Why is he painted with fire and horns like some demonic overlord? The answer lies in centuries of cultural shifts. As Christianity spread through Europe, figures associated with death and the afterlife became synonymous with evil. Hades, ruler of the underworld, was the perfect figure to reshape into a devil-like villain. Then came modern storytelling. Films, cartoons, and video games needed clear villains. Zeus is too heroic, Poseidon too noble. But Hades? He rules the dead, and death, to most people, is terrifying. So instead of exploring his role, storytellers demonized it. A god who maintained balance became a monster in pop culture. But the original myths tell a different story. Let's look at some of those myths. The most famous is the story of Persephone. Modern adaptations paint it as a story of kidnapping and cruelty. But the truth is more layered. Persephone was the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest. When Hades saw her, he fell in love. Yes, he did bring her to the underworld, but afterward, he made her queen. He gave her power, he respected her. He allowed her to return to the surface every year. This wasn't a simple damsel in distress tale. Persephone became a queen, feared and respected by gods and mortals alike. She wasn't his prisoner. She was his equal. The cycle of her journey became the explanation for the seasons. When she was with Hades, Demeter mourned and winter fell. When she returned, spring bloomed again. And here's something often overlooked. Unlike Zeus, Hades remained loyal to her. He wasn't known for betrayal, infidelity, or fits of rage. Among the Olympians, Hades was one of the most stable. Even heroes who ventured into his realm were treated with respect. Here's the truth that flips everything upside down. Hades is not the god of death. That role belongs to Thanatos, the personification of death. Hades simply rules the place where souls go after death. He doesn't kill, he doesn't hunt, he doesn't torture, he keeps the balance. In a pantheon of gods who act out of ego, lust, jealousy, and power, Hades stands apart. He is calm, stoic, just. When mortals died, it wasn't Hades who decided their fate. It was their own deeds. He ensured that every soul got what it deserved. Humanity fears what it cannot control. Death is inevitable, silent, unchanging, and because Hades represents it, he became the face of our fear. But fear doesn't make someone a villain. Hades was never the devil. He was a king, one of the most powerful and respected gods in Greek mythology. He was feared not because he was evil, but because he represented a truth everyone must face. Where Zeus ruled with thunder and Poseidon with waves, Hades ruled with responsibility. He didn't start wars. He didn't seek glory. He carried the weight of the afterlife on his shoulders, ensuring the world didn't fall into chaos. The villain you've seen in modern media isn't Hades. It's a shadow of human fear, a centuries-old misunderstanding. Hades was never the villain. He was the guardian of a balance no one else dared to protect. If this story changed the way you see him, don't let it stop here. Share this truth. Keep it alive. Because the moment we stop questioning the stories we've been told, we let myths become lies. So if this opened your eyes, leave a comment with your thoughts, hit that like button, and let's bring Hades the justice history never gave him. Your voice can rewrite the legacy of a god who was never evil, just misunderstood.